Hi there. So how do you know when you have an eating disorder or you just have a funny way of eating? How do you know when it's a diagnosed mental health illness or it's just that you quite like dieting and you've been on a diet all your life? Actually, the reality is I think there's an awful lot of people out there that are in that slight intellectual dilemma for themselves. And they know deep down that they've spent the majority of their lives eating in a disordered way or having diet dialogue in their mind. And the longer I spend talking to people about eating disorder journeys and thinking through where my journey was with my eating disorder and looking at where we've got to as a society around diet dialogue, the more I am quite saddened and fearful for the future around how many people do have a really disordered relationship with food and with their bodies. And I really do wonder whether perhaps sometimes it's an injustice to feel that it has to have a label for somebody to feel that they are justified or need permission to get well from an eating disorder. Of course, there will be people that have a fairly benign approach to dieting, and maybe, from time to time before they go on holiday or just after Christmas, they'll choose to lose a pound or two and they'll get more comfortable with their body size again. And the difference between where it is that more sort of benign relationship for me, I feel, is where somebody says, I did it and I, lost that pound because I felt a little bit better about it. And a week later, they're eating normally again and they don't obsess about food and they don't think about it. And it's not something that, it just isn't in their consciousness. For me, where it's an eating disorder and whether that's somebody who feels they've got anorexia as a label or whether it's somebody who just feels they've been on a lifelong approach to dieting and is always looking at kind of what calories they eat. For me, the difference is where mentally you are always thinking about food, and every one of your decisions about your activity output, your decisions of where you go to eat, what you go to eat, what you consume in your own kitchen, what you cook for yourself and for others, how much you look into food. If you do that in an obsessive manner and it's always in your brain, I would say you have a disordered relationship with food. Now, whether you never get diagnosed as having anorexia nervosa, bulimia nervosa, binge eating disorder, anything like that, that doesn't matter to me. And, certainly I would say if you are that sort of personality, but you still reach out to Wednesday's Child and say, do I have enough of an eating disorder to need your help? I would say, yes, you do. Because actually, if hunger has now distorted your brain to the point that everything about your life is controlled about what you eat and how you feel about your body, you need help. That's a disordered eating relationship. So I'd really be interested to know what you all kind of think about that and what your own relationship with food has been at a point that you feel you realised it became obsessive rather than benign dieting. It's kind of up for debate, but as I say, always interested to hear what other people think. Have a good day and I'll see you again soon.